Recently, CAIR, the Council on American Islamic Relations, have said that I am an Islamophobe, and not just your everyday run-of-the-mill Islamophobe, but one of the chief Islamophobes in America. Now, what is an Islamophobe? It's a weird word, because phobe or phobic is an irrational fear, so what does it mean to be Islamophobic? Let's, instead of dealing with the phobia part, let's deal with the Islam part. What is the Islam that I'm phobic about? Well, Islam, of course, is the doctrine found in the Quran and the Sunnah of Muhammad. The Sunnah of Muhammad is his perfect example and way of life and living. So if I'm Islamophobic, I am Quran and Muhammad phobic. So that's what I would be phobic of. Now, when I read the Quran, when I read it in Mecca, it goes on and on and on about how I'm going to hell. Well, I'm not concerned about Islamic hell, so the Quran of Mecca doesn't move me one way or the other. There's nothing to be afraid of there. But when I read the Quran of Medina, the latter Quran, I find something else. I find fighting against Allah's cause, which is jihad. And Allah loves those who fight in Allah's cause. And what do those who fight in Allah's cause do? They kill kafirs. And who's a kafir? Well, I'm a kafir. So I am afraid of jihad. I'm afraid of being killed. But is that phobic or fearful? Let's check the Quran out. Quran 8:12. Then the Lord spoke to his angels and said, I will be with you. Give strength to the believers. I will send terror into the kafirs' hearts, cut off their heads, and even the tips of their fingers. Now, if I said that to you, that I was going to cut off your head and the tips of your fingers, would you be afraid? Would that be irrational to respond to that? Quran also says that I'm to be terrorized. Well, if someone's trying to terrorize you and you're afraid of them, is that phobia or is it rational? Now, when I read the Sunnah of Muhammad, I find things like this. Who will kill Ashraf, who has offended Allah and his Prophet? I will, Muhammad, but I will need to deceive him. May I do so? Yes. So the man was deceived, he was set up for an assassination, and he was assassinated, he was killed. Now some would say I'm a critic of Muhammad, so therefore I can be assassinated. Now if I'm afraid of being assassinated, is that fear or phobia? Seems to me it's quite reasonable. Let's check the Quran again. The recompense of those who wage war against Allah and his messenger and who do mischief in the land, create fitna, is that they shall be killed or crucified, or their hands and their feet cut off on the opposite sides. Whoa! Am I to be phobic or fearful if you talk about crucifying me? Which is it, fear or phobia? Now, let's get this straight. I am afraid of Islam. I'm called a critic of Islam. Is my fear based on reality? Well, Muhammad killed 100% of the people who opposed him, even if they were intellectuals and poets. So, should I be afraid or am I phobic? Now, one of the questions I'm asked commonly when I speak in public is, aren't you afraid? And my response is, well, of course I'm afraid. Fear of Islam is rational. After all, over the last 1,400 years, 270 million have died. Why? Because they opposed Islam. So, I tell you this, I am afraid of Islam, I'm fearful of Islam, but I'm not crazy and I'm not phobic. What about you? Are you phobic or are you fearful?